5.
Top 5 teams on upset alert this week. And there's some really good games this week. And
Bangers.
Yeah, bangers. Really good ones on this list. And yes, I'm gonna talk some smack to Garrett during this segment. I promise you that. Number 5, Utah goes into the Swamp. Now, look, I don't really think that Utah is going to lose this game, but they have to be wary of the fact that they have probably not. I mean, the Rose Bowl is like that, so maybe it'll help them. But played in an environment like the Swamp is going to be on Saturday. They've got a new coach. They've got a quarterback they're all excited about. It's the first game of the season. Nothing bad has happened yet. That place will be absolutely lit. It's so loud in there, it shakes your bones. And this is going to be a tough place to play. If Utah messes around and thinks that this is a Florida team in transition like it is, I don't think that's going to happen because I don't think the head coach will allow it to happen. There's nobody more boring in a good way than Kyle Whittingham as a college football coach. So I think that they won't be overwhelmed by it. But they got to watch out. It's a tough place to play no matter, what part of the spectrum of their rebuild Florida is on.
Yeah, I agree. It's a toss-up game in so many, or maybe not a toss-up game, but I mean, I know Utah's slight favorites, so it's almost a toss-up, even odds. But I'd lean the Utes because of Cam Rising and Thomas and just the confidence that they built, coming off of last year. But I mean, certainly to your point, I mean, Billy Napier's going to have those guys fired up to play in his first game as head coach, and it's Florida after all. I mean, there's still, a certain standard, no matter where they are in rebuilding or whatever. That's still the Gators, and they're still going to play hard, and they're going to talk some trash, and they're going to try and get in the Utes' head, and they're going to rep the SEC, and they're going to come with all of that. So, yeah, Utah's going to have to be on their A game. I don't think that they're just walking over Florida by any stretch of the imagination.
Yep. Number 4, LSU is on upset alert. Look, they're playing in the Superdome. They're playing a Florida State team that hasn't been able to find their ass with both hands in about 8 years. But Florida State will run the ball heavy. They do offensive coordinator Alex Atkins, who is their offensive line coach, who is taking a lot of pressure off of Jordan Travis, which the offense last year was Jordan Travis, go make a miracle. It is not going to be that this year if everything works out. So I do think that this will be a better game than most people would think, but I think LSU ultimately wins. Mike Norvell needs one of these, though, so you gotta be wary if you're LSU.
Does he need one of those more than you do?
Yeah. I'm not getting. Look, if they lose the game, I'm not getting fired. Eventually at the end of the year. But there's potential that he could. I don't think that's going to happen. They're trending in the right direction in so many spots, but even still, that Jacksonville State loss still hangs heavy over him. And if they let Notre Dame beat them twice last year, they put a lot of eggs in that basket. I worry that they might do the same for LSU this year. But if they win that game, then maybe they can springboard off and beat some other teams that should be better than them.
I don't know, man. It seems like if you're going to get him, this would be the time to do it because Brian Kelly ain't going to be in this position for much longer. He's going to recruit that roster up. And, I'd expect LSU to be, making some gains pretty quickly. So, it's a prime opportunity for FSU. And to your point, it still might not be enough. But if it's not, I'm curious to see how it's not because Mike Norvell does need to be wary of just the feel and the confidence level I feel like throughout the program. If you're going to get smacked around by LSU, who's considered to be, somewhat down, I think that would be a little bit alarming.
Your most famous alum is also pretty successful right now where he is coaching. So, in Deion Sanders. That looms large, I think, over the program.
Do you think he's a slam dunk to coach FSU?
No, I don't. I think he's a slam dunk to coach at a bigger school.
Yeah, I agree. I just don't think that he's necessarily like FSU bound if that's the call.
What I do worry about is that when other schools start sniffing around, I'll just theorize. Like, say Nebraska's like, maybe Deion Sanders can help us. Then FSU's going to be they're going to have all these alumni. They go, well, we can't let our guy go there, whether that's good or not.
Yeah.
That's what I want. I want to see Deion in cold-ass Lincoln in December.
It's what happened with Tech and Cliff Kingsbury. Like, people started sniffing around Cliff Kingsbury, and they're like, well, he's our guy. We got to have him.
What a strategy.
Yeah, so, you don't want to see that happen. Number 3, Georgia plays Oregon and their old defensive coordinator, Dan Lanning. Georgia's a deeper team, a better team. than Oregon, but Oregon's ranked 11th for a reason. They've got some talent. Dan Lanning knows them pretty well. Again, it's an upset, so Georgia's probably going to win, but this one is going to be super interesting.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting because of Lanning. Outside of that, I'm not sure how great it will be. I like Georgia pretty handily in this game. I think they're a couple touchdown favorites at least. So I kind of feel like that's probably about how it will go. I think you'll certainly see some interesting things due to Lanning and due to, Oregon's got some talent, as you said, but I think this is going to be all dogs when it's all said and done.
I can't wait for these games. I love these games. I love good, early, non-conference games from different regions. I can't wait to see the scores come down.
Yeah. Number 2, Pitt. Now, this one's probably a little bit closer, but and I think Pitt's going to win. I'm giving me Pat Narduzzi in a game like this, but this one is big. There's a lot going into it. You heard Tony Caridi. Both teams are wearing special uniforms. This is even though these players haven't really experienced it, the fans will give them enough juice to realize how much either side hates each other. And Pitt should be the better team. Pitt's got more experience. They're not as in a much transition as West Virginia is. But like Tony Caridi said, he hasn't heard anything about what's really going on that offense. They're keeping it under their hat. So we'll see if JT Daniels can do it. But I think Pitt should be on upset alert because this game means a lot to those fans in both those cities.
I don't know if any game has had more attention for the last 2, 3, maybe even months rather than just weeks among our chat room viewers than this game, Pittsburgh and West Virginia.
Yeah, Pitt's a slight favorite, so, if the Mountaineers were to win this game, I don't think that would be a real shocker, but it would certainly be, a really nice launching point for Neil Brown and much needed and could really ease a lot of worries down the stretch run of, oh, gosh, can you get bowl eligible and things like that if they can handle, these early games and this one in particular. That'd really set them ahead of the curve.
Yeah. And number 1, Ohio State. And the only reason I put them at number 1, I think this is a team that's going to go to the national championship this year. I really do. But opening up with Notre Dame is going to be tough. That's going to be a pretty solid Notre Dame defense coached by Marcus Freeman and his staff. Notre Dame does have a new quarterback. They're happy with him, but he's going against an Ohio State team that's just a juggernaut. But it's still Ohio State and Notre Dame and the number 1 team in the country versus the number 5 team in the country. So everybody's going to take it seriously. But it wouldn't terribly shock me to see Notre Dame give them an absolute run for their money. This is also Marcus Freeman's first game as a head coach against his alma mater. I mean, there's a lot of that going on there.
Which of those 5 games can you think could get out of hand?
This one?
This one could teeter on a lot of, it could live on a lot of levels. It could be the greatest game we've seen, or it could be Ohio State going, look, go to bed. Just go to bed.
Yeah, I think that one, I don't know really about the others because I'm trying to remember the opponents in my head as well.
All right, Ohio State, Notre Dame, Georgia, Oregon, LSU, Florida State,
I think Georgia
Utah,
could
Florida.
stomp on Oregon pretty good. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised to see them win by a couple touchdowns. But like all these games, is like he said, it could be anything. It could be close contest and a field goal at the end wins it, or it could be a blowout. But yeah, I think Georgia's fully capable of putting a couple touchdowns on the Ducks and winning pretty easily. So that one as well. I don't know about Utah and Florida being like a blowout. That would be kind of surprising. I think that'd be, if Utah could pull that off, like, oh my gosh, then I think that, it's not the greatest Florida team ever, but I think that would really be a big statement to beat an SEC logo team right out of the gate. So yeah, I mean, it'll be fascinating, but yeah, I guess I go Ohio State, Notre Dame, or Georgia, Oregon.
Laptop is closed. That's what they say in the chat room. It must be time to say goodbye. Garrett Ross, Jacob